Hello, and welcome to Pressing Buttons. I'm Hugo.
I'm Nick.
Another great week, another great episode coming at you. Shout outs to the Discord who keep replaying that exact same phrase every time I jump on a channel. And even I'm starting to hate it.
I love it. I mean, you should actually just start using the soundboard for the intro.
Yeah, I mean, I love it too, but it's just, it's just hearing the sound of your own voice, and especially when the idiots on Discord use it that way. But yeah, hello, and yeah, episode 74. Well, we're almost at 75. Which sounds dumb, but it's
That
awesome.
is how numbers work.
Yeah, that is how numbers work. So we're gonna hop right into some news. First big news we're gonna discuss is some Final Fantasy 14 news. Over in Vegas, it's Final Fantasy 14 Fan Fest, and there was some big announcements made there. Nick and I were big Final Fantasy fans, of course, but we're also Final Fantasy 14 fans. I played it for a bit last year, even though I didn't stick with it. Nick has been playing it for a while. He's got a couple characters in there, and because of this news that just got announced, we're also thinking of jumping back in. But let's discuss the news. First big news is that they're going to be doing a brand new expansion called Dawn Trail that will be released next year in the summer 2024. From what they showed, it's going to have some sort of summer vacation vibe, so it's going to be very bright and tropical. You're also going to have two new jobs. One's going to be I believe, a magic DPS. Yes, we're going to have one range magic DPS class, and we're going to have one melee DPS class. They didn't specify what the class is going to be, but those are the basis for it. It's going to also have a new dungeons, new gear and recipes, a new raid, a new 8-player raid, a new Ultima raid, a whole bunch of PvP stuff, Blue Mage update. It's also going to have a new kind of fresh look for the game. They're going to update the graphics on the game. Even though the update for the graphics, Yoshi P did say that one's going to be kind of going to be staggered, where you're going to see it the game improve little by little graphical wise. And then the other big thing that was announced out of this is that finally Final Fantasy 14 will be coming to the Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S. You had Phil Spencer on stage to make the announcement as well. Big partnership, especially for all those Xbox fanboys or those people that are only on Xbox and haven't been able to play the game. Such a great game. And who knows what this kind of means in terms of the partnership for Square Enix and Xbox, what other titles will probably now head to Xbox after such a long period of having nothing Square Enix related. Nick, what are you most excited about this new expansion? I know we've kind of not been in the game for a bit, but this kind of perked our ears and has us excited for summer 2024.
Yeah, no, it was very exciting just to see that the reveal of an entirely new expansion. It was kind of unclear which direction they were going to go with Final Fantasy 14, because when Endwalker, which is the most recent expansion, was coming out, they were basically like, "This is the end of this story." But I think everyone kind of knows that they're going to continue supporting the game because it's been so successful for them, and it would be ridiculous for them to just like kill the game after that expansion. So I think people were wondering how they're going to approach the next expansion. So this is our first, kind of look at it. And I think it's like, yeah, basically it's like summer vacation. So they're going to try to release it as early as possible next summer. It's this the same kind of characters that everyone's been playing along with. The major NPCs that have been basically been there since day one. So yeah, it's exciting. There's a level cap increase as well. I've been following, just because I really like how they approach community management. I'm almost always checking out their uh, live or letter from producer live series, where Yoshi P and others from Square Enix are talking about just kind of like how they're constantly updating the game with big patches. Um, Other than the Island Sanctuary update, which was kind of like their uh, farming life sim mode of the game. which I played around with for a little bit. But other than that, like there hasn't been anything that big to get me back into playing Final Fantasy 14. So it was cool to see just like all of the stuff coming out of this fan fest, and I think I'm definitely gonna get back into the game. It's just a question of when. It'll probably be like still early next year. So I'll probably get back into it, get my feet wet, get kind of organized for the new expansion whenever that comes out. So I don't know, probably like maybe Q2 next year. I'll plan to get back into it. Maybe they reveal some more information that makes me want to get back into it earlier, but we'll see about that. But so yeah, a lot of cool stuff. I think the Xbox version is huge. Uh, People have been talking about it for a very, very long time. That was surprising to me, seeing, so I watched the live stream and it was Yoshi P, the CEO of Square Enix, was also there, which is kind of cool. I don't think I've ever seen the CEO of the entire company at, one of these fan fests. So the CEO is allegedly he's a big fan and player of Final Fantasy 14. So I think he kind of leveraged his executive authority to just make a presence there. But yeah, it was Yoshi P, the CEO, and then also Phil Spencer. Phil Spencer was kind of like the last big surprise special guest at the very end of the first session of the Fan Fest. And yeah, so they definitely focused on Final Fantasy 14 and how that's going to be rolled out to Xbox, but they definitely dropped some like cryptic messages around, Square Enix and other partnerships and things. So mostly I think there's some Square Enix stuff that's on Xbox, but I think there could be a lot more, right? So interesting if there's any meat to that, how they were kind of like dropping those types of hints. I think maybe the final thing which I started like spamming in our group chat was this like Fall Guys crossover.
Yeah, you were super excited about that.
Which I don't really like Fall Guys that much, like the actual game. It was fun. Like I think we played it maybe a couple times. It's like it's fun, but it gets a little boring if like that's the only thing that you're doing. But I thought this was actually a pretty genius crossover because in the Gold Saucer, which is that's the casino from Final Fantasy VII, they have a version of that in Final Fantasy 14 where you go and just like play a bunch of mini games and whatever. And at least like one of my favorite things is like the jumping. They have like these like jumping puzzle missions that you do at the Gold Saucer.
Yeah, I remember a couple of those.
Yeah. So like to me, it's just like, oh yeah, like this. Of course, like Fall Guys levels are a version of jumping puzzles. So in my mind, it was just like it's a jumping puzzle expansion, and it's just kind of like Fall Guys branded, which I'm fine with. So so that was pretty exciting to me. And then it's gonna go the other way in the other direction as well. Well, in Fall Guys, you'll be able to get like some skins for Final Fantasy 14 characters, which I don't really care about, but so I'm more interested in the other way.
Yeah, definitely. The game within a game is definitely more fun than just playing mini games the whole time. It's fun when you can just get out of that and do the Final Fantasy stuff and then jump back in. But very interesting, obviously, with Creative Business Unit 3, which is mainly in charge of Final Fantasy 14, them obviously working on Final Fantasy 16 and waiting till it wrapped up and released. There's rumors of DLC for Final Fantasy 16, so that was on their plate for a while, and then now that that's kind of released and all that stuff, it's good to see them back on track, going back to their main bread and butter, Final Fantasy 14, and seeing what they're going to be producing. Obviously, it's an MMO, it's online, it's a big world, and it's gotten better with every expansion, so it's one of their big sellers. I think definitely you still got to keep pushing it. I don't know how long it's going to be there for, but I think it has a big life cycle. Obviously, you have things like World of Warcraft that have been out for so long. This is I think 10 years or something like that. It's been out, so I'm pretty sure it's got a way longer lifespan especially because it's like more updated than something like WoW. And then in regards to the Phil Spencer Xbox announcement, I think that's great. Obviously, you have the Final Fantasy 7 Reborn. Every time I forget what the title is. But
Rebirth.
Rebirth. I think the third one's gonna be Reborn. Final Fantasy Rebirth coming out at the end of the year. I think that's too late for that in terms of it also releasing on Xbox, and I think it's more where they wanted to keep it a Sony exclusive and maybe on PC if that's out at that point. But it's kind of hopeful just to see any future remasters. There's been talks of Final Fantasy IX getting remastered and getting released, or any other Final Fantasy, just to see it on Xbox. Obviously, Square Enix has been kind of keeping it tight with Sony and just releasing everything kind of there. Even though at the beginning of the 360 generation, they did kind of have a push for a lot of the games to be on Xbox, and then that kind of dwindled out when they saw the amount of sales that they were doing in Japan and stuff like that. But it's good just to see this ecosystem kind of get back and seeing what it'll do to the fans and just get the games in more hands and make more content. But yeah, excited for this. Hopefully we get more news towards the end of the year of what that partnership will look like, and we'll get more updates on Final Fantasy 14, and we'll definitely, as soon as we start playing it, we'll keep you guys updated and let you know how it's going. And for anybody that wants to join us, can join us through the Discord. We have the channel for Final Fantasy 14 on there, which will now be used. It will be used.
As of right now, it'll be used. Are you? So when do you think you're gonna try to get back into it?
Probably next year as well. Just because this
Next year?
yeah. Just because one, there's too many games still coming out for the rest of the year that I still want to play, and two, like I feel like if I start at the beginning of 2024, that'll give me enough time to kind of get back on the horse, or get back on the bike, as you would say, and figure the things out that I forgot already, and be ready for the expansion when it releases.
Even like I've played the game for probably 600 hours or something like that. But even like when I put it down and then pick it back up months later, I'm like, I basically got to like relearn the game. Like, I know some stuff, but there's just like a lot to it. So it takes a while to kind of pick it back up again. So but yeah, I was just gonna say, because I feel like you have. Do you remember where you ended? I think you were like kind of in Stormblood. Or?
Yeah, I just finished the first A Realm Reborn. That's the only one I finished. Then I got to the next part. And honestly, I was doing it all by myself. I know we were supposed to play together, but we never managed to link up. That was on me. It was on me. I'll admit it, because I was just doing shit by myself, and I was like level 60 or something like that. And I just, I definitely know I was doing a lot of shit wrong, where like I wasn't optimizing, or I was just being a bad tank. I was a tank for some reason, but I was I liked the tank. I just didn't know it, and I'm ready to get back in. For those that remember, Harry Tit, which was my character's name, he's ready to get back out there in Valistia. Is it Valistia? No, maybe that's Final Fantasy 16.
Eorzea. No, yeah, that's yeah, I think that's Final Fantasy 16, right?
Yeah, I'm mixing my worlds.
Yeah, Eorzea. Yeah, that's cool. I was gonna say, because I feel like you have. I'm basically current with expansions. I'm not current with like the latest patch or whatever, but that's not that much content. Like I think I could kind of work through that fairly quickly. So, but I feel like you have a lot. You have a lot to get through. The other thing that they mentioned, which I think is awesome, is there's this feature that they rolled out fairly recently. It's called duty support, and that's basically you being able to do story-based, like dungeons you need to do to progress the story. You can play those dungeons with NPCs, which is like that was like never how the game was set up until recently, where you could just like play through games basically as like a single player game. So they've been like incrementally adding more dungeons to allow you to be able to play it with NPCs. And I don't know exactly when, but they did announce at FanFest that basically like every story required dungeon is going to have this rolled out. So that might work well for you. I don't know if you How if you want to play with other players and get made fun of when you have no idea what you're doing, or just play with NPCs. But I just wanted to mention that you'll have that option if you want it to basically play through the whole story like a single player game, basically.
Yeah, no, that's great, and that's the other thing too. Like, and I know we've said it before on the podcast, which is like we like these type of games where there's so much content, and then when it gets released and we're able to play it, we can play through all that back catalog, which happened with Lost Ark, and I think obviously with this it happened to us, and I think it'll be great for all those people that pick it up on Xbox. They'll have so much content to play through. I think it'll, it ups the value of the game. So can't wait to be back. Can't wait to be back. All right. The next topic that we wanted to talk about is Armored Core 6. I know we've been talking about it. We're big From Software fanboys over here. Can't deny that. We love them. We love their games. They released some more information. They released information on the multiplayer. There'll be a 6-player multiplayer mode. I believe it's 6v6. You'll be able to just do multiplayer, fast-paced mech action against other people. This will be a separate part of the story, which we've got more information on with some early previews of at least the first couple missions. It seems to be like the game is going to be fully, the missions are going to be short. So if you've ever played the Metal Gear Solid, I forget the name of it, but it was the missions. What was it called? Do you remember? The ones where it was just VR missions? Yeah.
It's VR missions or something.
Yeah, if you ever played the Resident Evil VR missions, not Resident Evil, the Metal Gear Solid VR missions, which were just short, specific based missions where you had to complete a small level in a certain amount of time, it seems to be like this is kind of the approach that Armored Core has been taking. For those familiar, they kind of already know, if you played Armored Core before, that it was kind of set up this way. I think it did come up as a shock for a lot of people who, one, didn't play Armored Core before, or two, hadn't played it in a long time. But it does seem to be like From Software kind of stuck to that formula, as opposed to just having this huge expanded world, open world, and you do everything in it, which in my opinion, I think it's good just to keep it kind of the same and not be too similar to Dark Souls or Bloodborne or anything like that, where you just have the world and you can go anywhere. It's good, especially with this, because it is more action paced. It's more fast paced mech combat. I think it'll work well for itself. I do think though that it did turn off a lot of people. Your thoughts on the multiplayer and the mission structures?
Yeah, I think the mission structures make sense. Again, I also didn't play the prior Armored Core games, but knew that was basically how the games were structured, where it's kind of more mission oriented versus explorer worlds oriented. And I think I've watched some people play, or I've seen videos where people are sharing their impressions with their time with the game, and I think the term like arcadey comes up pretty often, meaning that like you have like a very kind of discrete thing that you're trying to accomplish in a level, and it's more kind of like high score oriented, like getting a score or whatever. So I think that's fine. Like I think that's kind of the DNA of the Armored Core franchise. And I also just think like what would it even mean to have just like a big open world type game where you're in a mech, you can just kind of fly around and do whatever you want. So I kind of feel like it doesn't really work as well, versus kind of how Dark Souls or Elden Ring games play out. So I think that makes sense. I'm excited for it. For multiplayer, so it's PvP. Like I mean, did you ever play From Software PvP? Like I don't think I've ever, like I've maybe tried it every once in a while, but like,
Well, when you say From Software PvP, are you talking about like Dark Souls or Bloodborne PvP or Elden
really
Ring
just
PvP?
any of their PvP. Like it's something that I've never got into. So from that perspective, like I feel like it's going to be basically the same. Like I'm just like, that's like not what I'm looking forward to at all with Armored Core. So If it ends up being cool, like great, I'll play it. But like that's definitely not something that's like a big. That's not that important to me because it's never been important to me with other From Software games.
Yeah, it's not the main attraction of the game. I have done obviously the PvP. I think Dark Souls 1, I did a lot of PvP on that too as well. But because it's mainly a PvE game, which you can play with friends, kind of got consumed by that. So I would say I would try to not get invaded. I would close that out, or use whatever items to send the invader out of your world, just because it kind of bothered me that they could do that. But I know that the fan base, especially for these type of games, is very deep in terms of like people making builds and actually just looking for these type of PvP side things. I think to each his own, and like you said, it's not going to be the main attraction for me or you, I think, for the game, but it's something that we'll probably dabble in just to check it out. And who knows, it might turn out to be funny enough where you could just jump in for a couple matches and burn some time. All right, next thing we want to talk about is some Futurama Fortnite. Fortnite just recently announced that, especially with the new season of Futurama out now, that they did a collab. So we got some Bender skins, we got some Leela skins, and we got some Fry skin, along with other things in the game, like the Planet Express ship glider. Damn it, I forgot. So many things, so many names that they're gonna have. So that looks pretty cool. They've definitely stepped up their game in terms of animation skins. They definitely look better than they did when they first started. So I'm happy for that. And they also it kind of leaked online that the next collab is gonna be an anime. And guess what anime that is? Jujutsu Kaisen. That's right. It's the anime that I badly explained last week, which I will not be explaining.
Did they confirmed it was that series?
There was some leaks. Yeah, I saw the leak.
You saw the leak. Okay.
I saw the leaked wallpapers and skin menu. But yeah, it's gonna be Jujutsu Kaisen, which I will not explain. What's that one about again? Yeah, if you want to listen to how badly I explained it, listen to the last episode.
Something about eating a finger.
Yeah,
that's all. Yeah,
something about Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters eating fingers.
Yeah, it's the new Ghostbusters. But that's pretty cool. Obviously, Jujutsu Kaisen is pretty popular. I think it's one of those new up and coming animes and mangas that's kind of taking a placeholder in terms of the most popular ones out right now, especially in the shonen variety. And just I like the appeal that they're getting better with the animation ones, that they're taking more risks. Obviously, they've already done Naruto, and they've done Dragon Ball Z, and they've done Attack on Titan, and a bunch of other ones, My Hero Academia. So it's good to see that kind of just them doing better on it. Obviously, with Fortnite and all the IPs that they kind of want to introduce into the game, and have them become mass market and just get as many people's eyes in there. It's great, and you can kind of see, especially with other games that kind of have been doing this. Obviously, you have Mortal Kombat taking Homelander and Omni-Man and Peacemaker, but now you also have Call of Duty, and Call of Duty is now going to have Nicki Minaj and Snoop Dogg, as well as when they did the skins for those streamers. So it's the type of world we live in, where all these different IPs kind of invade the game. Hopefully they do way more. I know Terminator is coming as well. The T-1000 is going to be coming soon, which I thought they did have, but they had the robot skin, not the Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I think it was just the skeleton, not actual Arnold.
Yeah. So super exciting. Any collabs that you want them to do? Anything you're looking forward to?
Well, I saw that there was another big anime series coming to Fortnite. They didn't confirm exactly what it was. So I thought the rumor mill was actually more that it was going to be like One Piece or one of the other like mega anime series that isn't quite there yet. But
yeah, that was the other one I thought it was going to be too. I mean, I could be wrong still. This is just leaks. I will retract my statement if I am wrong.
Yeah, I was going to say, usually you're very careful around, we don't like to coming in hot with leaks.
Unless it's confirmed, we don't like to mention it.
So, but either way, like, yeah, we'll see what it is. But my current stance is the current version of Fortnite is not fun to play. So like I
The
kind of
current
like
season, yeah, the season's kind of booty.
so this current season is rough. So and I wasn't the biggest, like I appreciate Futurama, but I also like I wasn't a huge fan of it. If anything, there is a bit of nostalgia with Bender specifically because this is, I mean, I think it was Unreal. I can't remember which version of it, but it was Unreal Tournament on PC a very, very long time ago. And I think it might have been like my first foray into mods. So what I did was I modded, there was like some mod to add characters to Unreal Tournament. So one of my favorite ones was Bender. So I was able to get Bender into Unreal Tournament with like all of his like voice lines and stuff like that. So I was pretty proud of myself as a kid, trying to figure out how to mod games. So that's cool. So in my mind, it's like, oh, like it's hey Bender again, and I can play him in a shooter game. But if the game's not fun, then I kind of don't care about it that much. So
Yeah, we're pretty down on this season of Fortnite. That's why we haven't really talked about it, especially in our closing thoughts of us not playing Fortnite. So,
but it is an interesting, like what else is there? I feel like they've tapped into like every big IP at this point.
no, you still
Like
have.
what else is there?
There's a bunch of anime that they haven't done. I'm pretty sure they could do something like Bleach or some Gundam stuff. They also could tap into like Harry Potter. They haven't really. Did they do a Harry Potter collab? I don't know, but I don't think they have.
I'm not
Otherwise,
sure.
we would, yeah, something like that or Disney stuff. They could do like Mickey Mouse or something. That'd be crazy, but never know.
They're never gonna do that. The big one is Nintendo. Like Nintendo's never gonna. I don't think.
Never say never. They are on the Switch, your most hated console.
Why do you? I feel like you go out of your way to make me sound like some Nintendo hater.
You're not a Nintendo hater, but I want people to think you're a Nintendo hater.
I'm
That's
a-
why I just throw it in
I'm
there.
a Nintendo lover. They just make it very hard,
I know.
very hard to love them these days.
I
But
know. And that's a good thing because segue right into the next news is some Nintendo news for Nick, the Nintendo lover.
big news.
Big news, guys. Big news. And if you haven't heard it, you heard it here first. 2 new Zelda games that are old Zelda games will be coming. I just set everybody up for that. 2 new games will be coming to the Nintendo Switch Online, and those are going to be 2 old games, and 2 of my favorite old games, and it's going to be Zelda Oracle of Ages and Zelda Oracle of Seasons. And for those unfamiliar, those are 2 old Nintendo Game Boy Color games. One dealt with changing the seasons to kind of change the map, and the other one obviously dealt with changing the timeline to kind of change the map. These were very popular when they came out. They hadn't been released on anywhere else besides I believe they did like a 3DS re-release at some point. But these were developed by one of Capcom's subsidiary studios, Flagship. But these were very popular games. Obviously, they were the 2D Zeldas. They came out around the same time as Link's Awakening and all that stuff. But if you haven't played those, I would say go. Get your Switch. I know it's been collecting some dust. I know you haven't played much of it. It's only $20 for the year. Get that Nintendo Switch Online subscription and play these games because these are games you want to play. They're 2 classic games, awesome games. Or if you can emulate them, I'm not saying you should. If you own it, whatever, We don't want to get in trouble. Nintendo, don't send the lawyers. We don't have any lawyers. We can't combat. But are you excited for this? I know you're such a Nintendo lover.
That's such a leading question, dude. Like the answer to that.
Yes.
I am not excited for this at all.
What a Nintendo lover you are.
Yeah. No. Again, like I've basically been saying this for like the last year of Nintendo announcements. Like it's great for the younger generations of Nintendo players who like never played some of the oldies, but for me it's like I'm just ready for new stuff from Nintendo.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. We're too old now for these old games. Even though
Yeah,
every now and
even
then,
even like yeah, like the Super Mario RPG thing. I'm just like, okay, it's the same game. It's because I did the I played the Link's Awakening remaster, and it was just like
it was the same thing,
more
just
like
different
I was
graphics.
yeah, I was very like upset with myself for paying full price for that. So I just I'm not gonna do like I didn't do the Metroid Prime remaster. I didn't do this, but again, like I'm glad they're doing that because if you didn't play those games, then that's like a great way to play the game. It's just not for me. So
Yeah, it's for somebody, just not for us. Obviously, with all these remakes and remasters that they've been releasing, different studios have been releasing the last couple years. We do prefer the ones where they add stuff to it, and Nintendo just seems to be just re-releasing stuff, which is fine for those people that missed it or never got to play it, or are younger. But we want more new content. That's what makes it appealing to us that have played these old games. So
new content that's not Pikmin or Splatoon.
yeah, bring me back
So
some.
there's some.
Make some Donkey Kong 64 Part 2 or something. Wind Waker. Give me Wind Waker. That one I would buy no matter what it is. Updated Wind Waker. But yeah, that does it for the news for the week. Slow news week. We're chugging along.
This might be.
One of our
I think the
shorter-
last like 3 weeks have been some of the most brutal weeks of news since we started doing this podcast, and I think it's just the. I don't know. I would need to look back around the same time period last year. Like I don't remember it being this bad, but it's basically like the dead zone between summer, summer breaks and vacations and stuff like that, and then people probably holding on to a lot of news for Gamescom, which is going to be in a few weeks.
Yeah. Well, they just want us to go outside and touch some grass. It's the summer. It's a very, very hot summer, so they want us outside. Yeah, that was it.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
They want you playing their damn game.
All right, so we're going to move on to some closing thoughts. I'll start it off. For TV, I just finished watching This Fool. It's a comedy on Hulu. It's about this dude and his ex-convict cousin who lived together. And they in the first season, they were part of a halfway house that it was called Hugs Not.
I can tell you're like you're in your own head around explaining TV shows.
Yeah,
Of the from last week and trying to explain
Well,
that anime. I can tell you're like,
yeah, it's just very hard to explain.
Yeah.
You know what it is? I try to do my own thing so I could explain it to our fans and our listeners. Next time, I'm just gonna read off what the description says in the show description. I'll do that.
I think a lot of podcasters do that. They just read.
Yeah, but we're not allowed.
They literally just read descriptions or articles or whatever, and
But
that seems so boring.
yeah, that's not what
I
makes it.
don't even know how to read. Like,
Yeah, that doesn't make it a pressing
I don't
Members
read good.
podcast, and also doesn't provide great content like this, where I'm just blabbering for like 2 minutes about something that sounds like I don't know what it is. But anyways, it's about two cousins in a halfway house, and it's called Hugs Not Thugs, and then that's the first season. Second season, they open up a coffee shop called Mugs Not Thugs. Great branding, but it's pretty funny. I know it's definitely underrated just because a lot of people haven't heard of it, but it's very similar to Primo, which I talked about a couple episodes back. That's on Amazon, but I like it. It's definitely focusing on the Spanish community, especially the Latin American community, very Mexican influential in a lot of the Mexican culture, so it's pretty good. Check it out if you're able to. It's on Hulu. And also Twisted Metal, which is on Peacock, which we shit on a couple times because we had seen the trailers and the clips, and we didn't think it was that funny or that it looked good at all. But some reviews came in. I was gonna watch it anyways, just at least some of it, just to see how bad it was and probably make fun of it. But the reviews were coming in and they were good reviews, so I decided to check it out anyways. I'm up to episode 5 and it's good so far. I mean, it's not gonna win any Emmys or any television awards or anything, but the story's funny enough. The characters are cool enough. They have a lot of cool little Easter eggs if you play the game or if you're a fan of the series. And they do that thing that you started to hate with Guardians of the Galaxy, where like they play songs to like certain things to kind of make the ambiance and the action sequences and stuff like that. But they don't do it bad enough where it's like annoying. I think it's good enough, and especially the songs are from the 2002 era because spoiler alert, there was like a big apocalypse or something, a meteor strike in 2002. So like there's no new music from that, which I don't think it's a bad era of music. So if you're able to check out Twisted Metal, I think it's pretty fun. In terms of movies. Oh, did you want to say something about
Yeah,
this?
I was just gonna say like no, just to no, it's good that it's getting like decent reviews. I still believe that I think it was like a teaser that they just put online, and then there was a trailer. I think it was at Summer Games Fest, right?
Yeah. Well, they did
Like
the Sweet Tooth, the
those
Sweet Tooth
first
one.
yeah, those first two pieces of media is some of the worst marketing materials I've ever seen, like ever. So just based on those two things, I'm like, this is going to be an absolute train wreck. And then they showed, I guess it was like the third or however many, but this is like a couple weeks ago. They showed another trailer, and I'm like, oh, that actually looks
Yeah, the last trailer definitely
that
made
could
it
be
look better.
fun. Yeah, like that looks like a fun show. Like, why didn't they just show that to begin with? Like, uh, and I was getting, not that I was necessarily worried about it, but I'm like, okay, game, TV, or games adaptations for television have made such good progress. Is this going to be the show that like sets it back? And it seems like maybe not. Like I think it could be, it could be fun. So yeah, I think I'll check it out at some time. Maybe I'll wait for your full, since you're already like halfway through it
Yeah,
almost,
yeah.
or so maybe I'll get your thoughts on it and make a decision on whether I watch this. But I just wanted to throw that out there. Like I'm still like even thinking about those trailers is like getting me worked up, which I think tells you a lot about how
How
bad I
bad it
thought they
was.
were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then in terms of movies, we did go this week, little guys' night out. We went to see Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning, which I found enjoyable. I think it just had to do with me watching the previous 6 movies during the span of like a week or 2 weeks. Definitely, I don't think it's the best one. I still think Fallout has been the best one. The CG, there was a lot of CGI, much more CGI than I'm used to in Mission Impossible movies. But looking into it and from the understanding that one, it was being filmed during the start of the pandemic, so there was a lot of stuff that they didn't definitely weren't able to do in terms of practical effects, especially with how much Tom Cruise loves jumping out of planes, jumping out of mountains, and all that stuff. I don't think it looked as well as it would have if it was practical. And two, the fact that it wasn't on IMAX because Christopher Nolan took all the IMAX screens for Oppenheimer, I think that also hurt it, and the release schedule. So I don't think it's doing too well, but I definitely enjoyed the movie. Also, the fact that part 2 is going to be coming out. They didn't leave it as a cliffhanger, which was good. I enjoyed that part. That you don't, they didn't leave you like with some stupid question for the end of it. You kind of know what the mission of the next one's going to be. So I enjoyed that, and I'm excited. Hopefully, it's shot better. They don't use as much CGI. They did do that big train sequence, which a lot of people said kind of referenced Uncharted 2 and its big train sequence. So that was pretty enjoyable. I think the director said that they've never seen Uncharted 2, which I believe, it was just a great set piece. But if you're a gamer, you obviously connect 2 and 2 together. So that was pretty enjoyable. What were your thoughts of Mission Impossible?
Well, it's interesting you said that you didn't think it ended on a cliffhanger, which I think I agree with.
Yeah, it wasn't a cliffhanger.
But like it kind of just made the whole movie seem like a prologue.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it was like it was like this unnecessarily long thing to watch, just to watch. You know, like I don't know, maybe I'm not explaining it well, but
No,
it
no, I
almost
know
kind of
what
just
you
like
mean.
reduced. Like it just was like, okay, why did I even watch this? Like they could have just made that.
If you take the
Uh,
beginning part with what happens, and then you take what the objective is at the end, then it's its own movie. The only thing connecting it to the second one is, you know, the beginning of. You know what? We're gonna spoil it. If you haven't seen it, we're sorry, but we're gonna talk spoilers. Basically, the beginning they talk about the submarine. If you take that submarine part out at the beginning, and then at the end it was like, oh, we got to get to that submarine that sunk at the beginning of the movie
yeah,
that
exactly.
nobody talked about. I think it's its own movie.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I
yeah,
don't know. So, but it was enjoyable. The thing that I'm having a hard time reconciling is the like overwhelmingly positive reviews of the movie.
yeah, that's
So in
I'm
my
also
in
there with
my
you.
yeah, so I just don't. So like I had a good, it was a good time. It was just kind of like, guys night out, watch an action movie. It was an entertaining movie. Like I that would have been, I'm still happy that we did it. Like it was a good time. But like going in before we went to the movie, I'm just like, oh my god, like is there something special about this one because of all the
Yeah,
universal praise? And
93 and up, baby.
yeah, and then I think that was the when I came out of the movie, I'm just like, what the fuck? Like that was just like it was an action movie. Like there's nothing special about it at all. And as you said, which I agree with, like I don't even think it's like the best Mission Impossible movie. Like it's not even close.
Yeah,
So I don't know. So I feel like that's weird, but I don't want that to like undermine it's confusing, but I still had a good time. And we'll probably watch part two in theaters too. Just with the right expectations this time.
yeah. Maybe it'll blow our expectations out of the water. Also,
Yeah.
we could have just gone and seen Barbie.
Yeah. I think that's what most people are doing.
Yeah, and then as far as video games, still playing Remnant 2. We've done Another World, which we've been enjoying. Still having a lot of fun. Obviously, the game's been doing gangbusters. It's got double the players that the first one had. It has over 100,000 concurrent players on Steam. There's still a lot of secrets to uncover. I know they just released a video for the special class that had to be data mined, which was like a cool Easter egg that the studio did, where you have to wear like 12 different pieces of gear to be able to find this class or whatever. So that was pretty neat. You can definitely see that the studio has put a lot more work into this one. The first one was a great game, just not widely known to a lot of people. But this one definitely has that word of mouth and also it being a good game that's pushing it through, which I'm glad to see because we love these type of games. And hopefully we can get more people in there. I know a lot of people have been asking me like, how's the game? Is it worth it? And obviously it is. We've had no issues really with the multiplayer aspect of it. We've been able to connect pretty easy and just jump into my world and just do the missions and have fun and bullshit, which is what we want out of all games. How are you enjoying Remnant so far?
Love it. I think I previously mentioned it's just a great game. There's a lot to like. Very easy to pick up and play whenever you have time. It's super fun to play cooperatively. So yeah, it's been a good time and a much needed experience after being very disappointed by Final Fantasy 16, which I still haven't touched.
Yeah, you gotta finish it. You
Yeah,
can't
I
keep
just gotta
saying
finish it. I know
disappointment and
I
not finish it.
still haven't finished it. But one day I'll get there. Maybe this week. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I just been I'm enjoying playing Remnant, and that's where I'm spending my time.
This is the most
It's that
consistent
easy.
we've been in playing a game together, I think, ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
Surprised.
what I expected to happen with Final Fantasy 14. Not for me to watch you create a character and then play on your own up to level 60.
A great character, Harry Tip.
Yeah, no, it would have been fun to play together. But
2024
yeah.
is the year we play together.
Okay, and then maybe we go to next year's Fan Fest.
There you go. Anything else you've been Playing, watching?
No, we have a lot of overlap this week, right? It was Mission Impossible in theaters and Remnant, and me not playing Final Fantasy 16, even though I said last week I was going to try to finish it this week. So
Yeah, we'll never do that.
that's
review.
pretty much it.
D-Pass is going to be so mad at us. Well, at you, because you haven't finished it. He wants that review. We have to give our listeners what they want.
Okay. All right. I needed that inspiration. I'll get it done this week.
All right, you heard it here. D-Pass, if he doesn't do it, you can go after him. You have his number. All right, well, that does it. Pretty short episode, but we discussed some great news. Thanks for joining us. Make sure you guys are checking out our website, pressingbuttons.gg, for the link to our Discord. Jump in there and make sure you guys are hitting us up. We love to play video games. We love to play with our community and have a good time on there on the Discord. And make sure you guys are liking and subscribing to all our social media stuff, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, Threads, or X, or whatever Elon Musk is doing that this week.
We're on Threads already?
Yeah, we're on Threads. We're not using it.
Oh my god.
But we're on it.
Damn.
We need a social media person bad because I'm horrible at it and so are you.
Correct. Yeah.
Maybe we'll get good at it. Or if anybody wants to, you can put your resume for being our social media person on our Discord. You get paid.
Yeah,
nothing.
we can do an internship, college credit only though.
Exactly. And then you get some Discord clout. But we'll give you a shout out on the podcast that you're a social media person. So if you want to do that, let us know. And you have to be good. Well, better than us.
Better than us. Yeah.
But yeah, that does it. Thanks for joining us, guys, and we'll see you episode 75, baby. We're almost there. All right, that was too excited. I'm Hugo. Bye.
I'm Nick. Later.